Alright, well, hey guys, today's going to be a rather chill video. Mike is on vacation to the Bahamas, so there won't be any intro. He didn't pre-plan. Yeah, so it's just going to be me and you guys and Ymir. Okay, so all that aside, I'm just going to do a little rant video, I will be ranting about religion and nothing else because the video keeps being made too long. So just religion rant. So I think I'm going to bring in my first rant.
Only rant!
To the whole entire religion.
Only!
And more specifically, the Christian religion. And this kind of can play into all the other themes that I'm going to be ranting about, so to speak, in this video. But it's just, I find it extremely interesting that in the Christian religion, some of the most devout Christians you will find are actually from the American South. Some of the most backward-thinking, stuck in the 1950s, hateful, racist, judgmental individuals are some of the most devout Christians. Some of the most, in quotes, patriotic Americans. Now, my favorite thing to point out to those type of people, the most red-blooded Americans that are so super Christian, that believe it's the most American thing in the world. For starters, Christianity originated from the Middle East. Just the Bible alone supposedly is a story about a bunch of Middle Eastern men and women in the middle of Israel or Palestine, whatever you prefer to call it. I wish someone would educate me on that, because that's a whole entire different debacle of its own, but I'm not well educated enough on that, so I'm not even going to really touch on it aside from what I have, so I digress. But and then whenever you tell people that it originates in the Middle East and there's not a single white person in the Bible, that's just one thing that makes them lose their cool. Tell some deep Southern hardcore Christian that thinks Christianity is a super American cornerstone. They're like, what the fuck's wrong with you, bum fucking idiot? It's America, but it's not from. Who cares if it's Middle East? As a matter of fact, one time, I told somebody this. I was like, hey, I know you're a devout Christian and all this and that, and you think it's the most American thing since Tom Brady's teeth, but originates in the Middle East. And he's definitely a 9/11 was not committed by Bush theorist, which it definitely was. He's like, no, fuck you. Christianity, it comes from the heart. That's where it originates from. It originates in your heart. And that makes it sound like some sort of disease almost, if you put it that way, or a mental health condition. But I digress. And I like how all of the characters just conveniently have Anglo-Saxon names, opposed to, names that are actually specific to that area. I mean, sure, you got some Davids in the Bible, and that's a name in the Middle East, but it's not David, it's David. And then the stories themselves, I definitely don't think they're meant to be taken literally. And if you approach a Christian and you tell them a story about a blue man with 3 feet that is able to perform great miracles, and if he touches people, he cures their blindness, he's able to walk on water because of his 3rd foot, and you find it, you can improve that it's an old written script or texture from 300 AD, and you give it to them, they would look at you like you're crazy, like you're a moron. But then you have this white man named Jesus from the middle of nowhere in the Middle East that's performing all these miracles, yet that makes sense somehow. I don't understand it. And there's so many denominations, and all the denominations hate each other to some extent. Catholics think Baptists are way too lax. Baptists think that Catholics are rapey. Pentecostal women have to wear the jean skirts that, go below their feet and they're always tripping on them, and they're not allowed to show anything. As a matter of fact, the way the Pentecostal religion is, and that's just another thing. You tell a Pentecostal this, they also will lose their shit. But the Pentecostal Christian religion, or Orthodox Christian religion, is insanely similar to the Muslim faith, not Muslim faith. Extremely similar. But if you tell them that, especially a deep-rooted Christian Pentecostal from the United States South, there will be bad blood. And I like how there's 3 different religions with their main holy site being in Jerusalem. And all 3 of those religions are super similar, with that being Muslim, Christianity, and Judaism. Yet each one is supposedly right, and there's no way to prove which one is right or which one is wrong, yet everybody swears wholeheartedly that they are the right ones. And I think Ricky Gervais said these next 2 points I'm going to make, and they're both very, very true. But the Christian religion, it's very medieval, very archaic. Like knights who were not well educated, didn't have access to a public school system, didn't have access to public health care, probably smelled like a dead raccoon that was wrapped inside of another dead raccoon that was being eaten alive by a German shepherd that has mange, and whenever he eats the double-wrapped dead raccoon, he dies because the raccoon was gangrenous. And so you have a dead, bloated German shepherd covered in mange that ate diseases raccoons. I forgot the point I was trying to make because of the weird analogy that I was trying to make. So, on that note, I'm going to take a shit, and then I'll pick up where I left off. And I remember my point. So, yes, this uneducated, unhygienic knight of old would kneel below a tree, lay up against a tree, and pray to a mythical sky wizard that grants magic wishes, if you pray correctly, to keep him safe in battle. You're telling me that there's this giant, all-knowing, all-sentient being, man, up there in the big, great blue yonder sky that is going to just magically shield you and protect you from a sword going through your skin and ripping through your heart? No, I think it's going to be that the swords crafted in ye olde England, A, weren't really that good, and B, they're not going to be penetrating through your chainmail and your ironclad breastplate, especially if you were wearing it properly. It has nothing to do with this invisible magical force that's hiding your entire body from damage. And you're probably going to die anyways from cholera or giardia or some other gross, awful disease from those times, or the Black Plague. So that's it's a very, very medieval and odd ideology, that the fact that people aren't more keen to science and logical thinking. It just, I find it to be quite interesting. And then another thing, what kind of a God gives you free will, right, to do whatever you so choose to please? But if you don't spend every single waking moment of that free will worshiping him, praying to him, talking to him, sounds like he's pretty lonely and he needs some friends. But being a big control freak like that, one would expect someone to be a bit control freaky. But how are you going to give people free will and then damn them for eternity for using that free will to not want to worship you every single second of every single day? Right? And theoretically, if you are a Christian, you have been saved and you have God in your heart and all that, you could be a serial killer and murder people and commit awful atrocities your entire life. This is a very, very extreme example but it proves my point. Adolf Hitler was supposedly Catholic. That man could have lived his whole life doing all the awful things that he did. Now, granted, supposedly he ended up committing suicide, and some Christians will say that that is the automatic damnation of suicide, which is super fucked up. Like, God forbid you have severe depression issues and you feel a little fucking sad and you don't know how to relieve yourself or help yourself, so you put a fucking gun in your mouth and you end everything because you're in so much pain you feel like a burden to everybody. And then, oh, well, eternity and pain and suffering and fuck you. Yeah, no, I don't want to worship any God or a religious system that's like that. It's fucked up. But I digress. Theoretically, and again, from what I understand, the jury is still out on whether or not you automatically go to hell forever. Apparently it was out on homosexuality. Now homosexuality is okay, according to the Pope and whatnot. But Adolf Hitler theoretically could have asked for forgiveness for all the horrible things that he did, according to the Christian religion. And since he was baptized and all that, and since he asked for forgiveness and he really, really meant that he was really, really sorry for killing all those people, then he'll end up going to heaven. Wouldn't that be fucked if Christianity was actually right and it was real, and all these devout, super hardcore Christians got up to heaven and they looked over in the corner and Adolf Hitler has this fancy reserved spot. He's like, hello, hi, hello, waving to everybody when they come in. I hope that pisses off a lot of people if that ends up being the case. Like, you telling me this motherfucker isn't in hell? Why the fuck is he not in hell? What is going on here? And God's like, oh no, yeah, no, we're square. Right before he had Eva Braun blow his brains out, yeah, he said he was sorry. He apologized to me. You know, I mean, fuck all those millions of people he killed. Oh, Stalin's here too, by the way. He asked for forgiveness. Due to time constraints, YouTube is not allowing me to upload the rest of this video. So, the rest of the forethought and jokes that are in this video have to be scrapped. Thank you.